motivation letter is a short one-page letter that explains why you are the best candidate for a position by using examples of your interests and your achievements. I believe that the motivation letter is one of the most important parts of your application, and so today we're going to talk about it. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Dorothy. Thank you so much for joining us today. So as the title and the intro has already highlighted, we're going to be talking about the motivation letter. Yes, the motivation letter. The motivation letter is part of your application, documents that you have to include in your application for the Erasmus Scholarship or even any other scholarship or school selection application. And usually this letter
pose a lot of problems for many students
because you kind of find it difficult to write your whole life and convince the selection committee that your life, your achievement, your interest makes you the best candidate for the scholarship. And so today I'm going to be telling you the steps I took to secure my scholarship by writing an award-winning motivation letter. So let's go straight into it. So the first point that I want to talk about is that you should read about the program. So I already spoke about the Erasmus catalog from my previous video. If you have not watched how to navigate through the Erasmus catalog, I'll be leaving the link in the description, and then I think I'll put a screenshot of it somewhere here. Anyways, so read all about the program. So on the Erasmus catalog, there's a part where you get to read a summary of the program and in the schools that are involved in, and there's also the program website where you get detailed information about the program that you want to do. So with that, my advice for you is that you should read everything about the program from the program website, the curriculum, the objectives of the coordinating universities that are rolling out the program. You have to know all of that so that when you are writing, you write with a well-informed mind. Why I'm saying that? So for me, I was watching an episode of Scholars Pivot, and one of the Erasmus scholars spoke about reading everything. Sometimes it can be annoying that you're not applying to just one, you're applying to a number of them, and so you want to just get it over and done with by reading too fast, like just skimming through. But I advise that you take your time and then read every single page of the program website, especially for a program that you're really interested in applying for, because there's a lot of information that you might miss if you just skim through. Another thing I do under the reading of the program is sometimes I pick from the curriculum. So the program website sometimes can let you know what programs or what subject you would be studying when you get to your school. And so for me, I picked like one of the subjects or one of the topics. For me, I picked archaeometry, and I looked for articles online about the topic of archaeometry, and I read through, so I understood what the program was about in a general sense. And so when I was writing my motivation letter, I knew how to link my past academic experience with the program. So for me, reading more about the program helped me link my experience, my academic experience, with the needs of this particular program and I'm applying for, and I guess it worked.
Because I'm here. Yeah, it worked.
So the next thing that you have to do is to reflect on your life and identify when your interest for the program sparked. So again, you have to go in a reflective mode, because you would be telling a story, and sometimes, I'm not saying you have to say something that doesn't relate to the program. You have to like go back in time. When did the interest for
maybe energy or interest for science, management, financial management, and project coordination or archaeology,
when did that interest spark in your life? So reflect on it, go back down memory lane and try to identify an experience, a unique experience that shows when this desire to do this program came about. So for me, it started when I was a child. I used to watch a lot of documentaries and like movies that were history themed, and so it was just wonderful for me to start to study archaeology, and it helped me understand what I was watching as a child, the history, and in the movies how accurate they were in telling the historic occurrence. But you get me, right? Just go back, think about what makes this definitely something you want to do, because you actually had an interest for a very long time. So please, yes, essentially that's what I'm saying. Reflect on your life, identify when the interest sparked. Next thing, please go ahead and write your draft. Your first draft, you just like sit down and type everything, let it flow through you, let the story come out of you. Even if it doesn't make sense, just write, because when you already have something that you've written down, you can easily deduct, subtract, or add whatever you want to add to your letter. But please write, pour your heart out. Your first draft doesn't have to be so perfect. You're just pouring out your heart. You want to share why your ambitions, your achievements, your interests, what sparked your interest in the program, and so just pour it out. Nobody's looking at you. Do that. Please ensure that your introduction is a catchy one. It is just like academic writing. It is just like writing an essay in high school, in primary school. You just have to write a catchy introduction that hooks your audience, that hooks the reader. And when you get your reader hooked, the person is more comfortable to finish your essay, to read everything. Now my next point is that you should review your own letter a couple of times. So as I already said, you write a number of drafts, you read them yourself, you edit them. How I do it is, after my first, second, or third, fourth draft, I actually print out my essay. I leave a familiar place, go to a quiet place, and then I'll read it aloud. Sometimes when you are typing, there might be like oversights of some errors, and so we'll be working on the errors later, but now you want to make sure that what you've written is like makes sense, it flows logically, and all of those things. Get to a quiet place. Now take a pen or a pencil. Let's say in this case we're using a red pen. So you sit back, you now read through, look at each sentence, how you can improve upon it. Then you maybe make some notes on top or the side, but indicate where you want the changes to be. You can do that a couple of times, but yes, you have to review it. You have to be honest to yourself. Do not feel like, okay, you have to be hard on yourself, because you want this. Be critical. Tell yourself the truth. When you see that it's something wrong, you are helping yourself, and so you don't have to be shy about it or anything like that. So please write it down. Anything you feel that needs to be changed, do it. Okay? My next point is you should ask your colleagues or your lecturers to help you review it or proofread it. So yes, very important. After you are comfortable, maybe after your 8th draft, after the drafts that you are comfortable to share, you can ask your friends and your lecturers to help you review it. So with that, you see, for me, I didn't want to send a very bad essay to my lecturers, because so I have to write at least something that is presentable. And even with that, I get solid feedback. Sometimes I have to rewrite everything again, but then you have to get a lecturer, somebody who is more experienced in this sort of thing, to review your work. And trust me, your lecturers, they do magic. like the lectures that helped me by reviewing my work, hey, they really helped though, because some, even with my drafting and things like this, they bring very refreshing insights and suggestions that when you really adapt to your essay, you see that there's this improvement that you would have missed if you did not give that input. And so my next point is grammar correct and spell check your final letter. So after you've done everything, you are sure that your essay is good. Now please run it through Grammarly, a grammar checker or a spelling checker. Why I'm saying this, there are some errors that your eyes may overlook, and it would be horrible. It would be so sad to write a letter. You write an awesome letter, but there are some errors in it, and because of that you lose the scholarship opportunity because of a few errors in your work. Please try and avoid that by spell checking and grammar checking. Grammarly is available. You can use that. Check your work a couple of times to make sure that it's error-free and solid grammar. Then yes, you do that. So yeah, those are my points that I would like to highlight. But then another thing that helped me with like writing my motivation letter was some tips I found from the scholarship application form for the Tourism Development and Culture Program, Erasmus Mundus. They gave 4 points that they are expecting to see in your letter, and I think the word limit was 400. Yes, 400 words for your motivation letter. So this was what I used as like the backbone for drafting my letters. So they said you should outline your motivation for choosing the program. Example, how it complements and develops your previous studies, and how it relates to your career path, and how it relates to your personal and academic interests. The next point that they gave, explain why you think you are a good candidate for the program, given your previous studies and the courses offered on the program in both years. Then the next point was you should highlight your participation in conferences, internships, non-governmental organizations, summer schools, and other activities connected to the area of the program. They're essentially saying highlight anything that links to the program. Highlight your conferences, internships, or your volunteer opportunities that sort of link to the program. And then the next or the last thing that they had here was explain why you think you should be considered for the scholarship. So essentially they even give us what they are expecting to see, and it was a 400-word maximum motivation letter or personal statement that they wanted. My program was expecting 1,000 words, but even with that I wrote like 500 words. Yes, I wrote 500 words. So that's the thing, it doesn't have to be too long. Do you get it? It doesn't have to be a lengthy essay. You can just be very brief. Tell them everything that you have to say, your experience, which programs did you specifically choose to do when you were doing your undergrad, and how does it link to this program, your volunteer opportunity or experience. So for me, where I was applying for the European Interdisciplinary Master African Studies, it was easy because when I was at university, I used to help with the production of the African program, Interrogating Africa, and so it was easy to link it. Do you get it? So that is why I keep saying that please find an opportunity and go and do, because there are various things you can use that points for, that volunteer experience for. In this case, for archaeology, I just used that to show that I'm a good student, and a good student in the sense that I could focus on academics and also actively work with a radio station and do this much work. Comparing the two, weighing them together, I'm a better all-rounded student than a person who maybe just did school, got the same grade, but did nothing in terms of extracurricular. And so yes, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'll answer all your questions. Every single question you ask me, I'll answer it. I'll answer it. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.